Welcome to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast, where high achieving entrepreneurs and leaders come to receive deep, insightful conversations and practical guidance to move from hustle to flow without sacrificing their authentic self and the results. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Tammy Cho, a former patient care leader turned international best-selling author, speaker, and face and body analysis expert. Get ready to lead your authenticity, lead your energy, and lead your impact. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast of Authentic Leaders Rising. I have a very special guest here, Janet. She helps people dive into really reversing this idea of chronic illness and disease. As someone that used to be a chronic disease management nurse, there was a lot that we jived in together, but I love how she brings this empowerment and self-love piece. Welcome, Janet, to our show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm definitely under the weather. My daughter had the fever and I think it's passing on to me, but I'm here and we are in the now. And so, yeah, we're going to dive in. And so I'm going to just introduce Janet a little bit more. Janet Prado is a certified holistic coach helping women entrepreneurs to reverse chronic illness through medical medium protocols. Look forward to hearing more about that. She overcame a rare condition that she had in her body for over 20 years, and she can help you to also heal from within and feel empowered. She is also the host of an incredible podcast called Happiness from Within, as you can see right behind Janet there. And the mission of the podcast is really to inspire over 1 billion people to find happiness and healing and to touch people's heart and souls at a very deep level. So you can already see why I was drawn to having Janet on my show, because we definitely have a lot of alignment in our path, so to speak. And as a psychosomatic therapist, face and body analysis expert, chronic conditions has a lot to doing with self-love and to actually walking our purpose and being in alignment. And so welcome again, Janet. I always love, Janet, to really start with hearing how you came to be. What was your story? Like what obviously drew you? I know this is this rare condition. So please share with us your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I will condense it.
Yeah, sorry.
So I would say it really goes back all the way to childhood. I mean, coming into this planet, it was just like the struggles just started. My parents were always back and forth fighting for me. I mean, I'm grateful for that. I had love, right? And so
Yeah.
I lived bet between both of them kind of growing up in between. There was a particular individual that actually, when I was younger too, that took me away from my father. And my father was looking for me for 5 years. He had a
Wow.
hire a detective, but all these things serve their purposes, right? This was before the internet, right? So
Yeah.
this was back in the 80s. So it's not, so it was a very different time. Yeah, what happened was when my father found me, during those 5 years when I was gone, there's just a lot of things that happened that shouldn't have happened, trauma-wise, mental abuse. But it all serves its purpose, right? So fast forward, I feel like from the time I was 11, I really started to try to really find myself. I've always been very intuitive and feeling into people's energies. I'm the type of person I have to spend a lot of time alone and to recharge myself, just like we charge our cell phones and devices, right? I think we all need that on some level. We're just human, we're not robots.
Yes.
And so, just fast forward I'm 44 now. In my 20s and 30s was really about really self-discovering myself. I came to find out that I just had a rare condition in my body. I used to be a runner, very active, and a lot of that changed because basically there's just the cyst and things that were not supposed to be there, right? And fast forward, after really working with a lot of different therapists and healers, doing the work, investing in myself and doing whatever it took, it really paid off because as I started to do the work on myself, I started to honestly forgive these people that caused me all that trauma and pain. I really do forgive them. I don't excuse what happened, but
Hmm.
I came to a point where I would tell you that I really love myself. I could never have said that honestly in my 20s. In my 30s, yes. And that's why I'm so passionate about it because on some level, We're all human. We all on some level have gone through something in life, whether it's a breakup, it's trauma, whatever it is, it doesn't matter how little or how big. Everything has its importance. It's gonna shape you and mold you into the person that you're gonna be. I don't have answers to why certain things happen. I mean, life is just life. Obviously, I'm not God, but all I can tell you for those that are listening, whatever you're going through, I just want you to know that there's always hope at the other end of the tunnel. So many times we might feel like we're hitting that wall even every single day, but guess what? On that other side of the wall, there's an expanse. Okay. You can either break through the wall or jump over it. But I promise you that that wall, there's a way to tear it down. I think the most important thing, if it's one thing you get out of today's podcast episode, is just to know, I know you probably have heard this a million times, but really don't give up on yourself. There's so many people on this planet that give up on themselves. Look at Robin Williams. He looked all happy, happy, right? And he took his own life, right? So I share that from my heart to yours that whatever you're going through, it's okay if you don't have all the answers. Life is not rainbows and unicorns. Life is beautiful, but man, it's gonna have its tough moments. If you're going up that mountain, like a mountain can never be smooth because if the mountain was smooth, it's like a slide. You would slide down. Like a mountain has rocks, it has hills, it has wind, tornadoes and, all these things, right? If you think of a palm tree, right? A palm tree, the roots of a palm tree actually go down about 50 feet is, I read that somewhere, which is pretty amazing. And so the palm trees it goes through the wind and maybe some of the palm trees, depending where you live, have the coconuts or something, right? But it goes through hell and high water. It's like winter, right? Like, so basically my message to you is that honestly, like just overcoming all this stuff. I mean, it's literally just like obstacle after obstacle. I just kept moving forward, even after the doctors told me that I would never walk again. I just said, okay. And I thought in my mind, they're just doing their job. They're trained in what they're doing, and I respect that, right? But in my heart, I knew there had to be another way. I knew. And here, I'm not saying it's going to take you 20 years. This was just my journey, right? I think a
Mhm.
lot of that when I look back, I feel like what all these experiences taught me, Tammy, was really about trusting myself. Really about trusting myself. And I can tell you now today that I really do trust myself. I'm not saying I don't have moments that I don't, but like when I'm
Mhm.
trying to make a decision about something, I don't make it right away. Like sometimes it might take me a few days, it might take me a few weeks, but it doesn't matter because it's your life. You know what I can just to tell you, the beautiful thing of going through all these surgeries and procedures is like in 2020, I found the answers. I discovered a medical medium. I won't go too much into it. You can Google it, but basically a gentleman that just helped millions of people all over the world to heal chronic illness. I just I didn't know that. I was like, oh, okay, this is what's going on in my body. I came to realize that it was viral. And basically what that means is just using certain foods to reduce the viral load. The way that we're sitting right now, during the 20 years, there's probably like 10 of those years that was really hard, but 4 of the years it was probably the most difficult because it was really hard to sit down like normal. And
Mhm.
so to be able to sit right now and do this beautiful interview with you and provide value, it's like, it's honestly the greatest gift. I was only able to bend my knee about 30 degrees, but the gift that happened was that I could still walk, right? We always have to look at the gift, right? There's always a blessing, right? Because there's
Yeah.
always somebody that has it worse, right? I mean, I'm sure there's stories that you can think of. I don't remember the name of the gentleman, but the guy, he doesn't have any arms or any legs. I think he has like one finger. And the guy is like, he
Mm.
speaks on stages and he inspires so many people. And I thought, here, I have 2 arms and 2 legs. It's like, what the heck am I complaining about? So if you have
Yeah.
2 arms and 2 legs and you can see and you have your 5 senses, you're ahead of a lot of people. 1 in every 9 people have some sort of an issue with their liver. A lot of people don't realize this, but there's many people all over the world that are suffering so much. I mean, this is only one aspect of suffering. We're talking about a little bit of chronic illness. Literally, they cannot get out of bed, maybe to go to the bathroom, but it's hard to shower, right? It's hard to do things. And so that's one of the reasons like I'm so passionate about the medical medium information because I personally have interviewed and have seen with my eyes, because I've gone to a lot of the events, have met people that have gone through way worse than I have, right? And these
Yeah.
people completely hear the bodies, literally just using this information. So,
I
but
love that. And I think I do want to dive into the medical medium because I don't think it's something I've heard before. But I do want to commend you because a lot of times we're using comparison. It's like, it's not good to compare. And then at the end of it, it's really the energy behind all of that. Like, is it out of love, like seeing, letting comparison inspire you that this is what I have and look at that. I could do it too. And a lot of times comparison is seen as a bad thing. And I think that there's a time and place for everything on our journey that you've shared, right? Like whatever the audience is going through, it just, you could do it and it matters and you will come out the other end. And I think that in sharing your story and your experiences like this, it opens up to the truth behind a lot of things in many ways, right? And to really very much what you said with like not taking on what the doctor or someone outside of us tells us that we can't walk again or something. And when we buy into any belief, that's what we're going to create. And so I think it's so beautiful that your heart was obviously wide open for yourself, even at that time, whether you knew it or not, that it really created who you are today. And so I think that's super beautiful, Janet.
thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Janet has really spilled her heart and soul, and she's really showing the beingness of what she's trying to do, really touch people's heart and soul at a deep level. We know that shit happens in life. Things happen to our body, chronic conditions develop if we are not listening deeply. And Janet brings the holistic nutritional side of things in a really holistic way. And so I would love to hear how you go about serving your audience and who do you serve? Essentially, anyone with a chronic condition. And I'd love to hear more about this medical medium because when we shift things in the body, we also shift things at other levels. And so please expand.
Yeah, absolutely. I just first want to say thank you for letting me share my story earlier and for letting me be vulnerable to share that. So, in regards to medical medium information, how is it different and how does it specifically help? So, as I had mentioned, medical medium, also known as Anthony William is his name, but he's also known as the medical medium. He basically, for many years, I think like 20 plus years, he used to give sessions one on one. And then he started writing the books so that way he could reach more people, right? He's basically able to scan anyone's body and tell you exactly what your condition is, right? And so it sounds wild, but basically where the information comes from, and again, this is going to sound wild, but I'm going to share with you, is it doesn't come from a human. So there's basically God. Next to God, there's this angel called the Spirit of Compassion. The Spirit of Compassion basically talks to medical medium. How is it that this information works? Well, there's millions of people that have healed themselves, so obviously something really powerful is happening. And so when you read the books, there's so much information. It's just pure diamond and gold. Medical medium, he's not the type of person trying to make millions of dollars because honestly, he could be doing all this for profit. He's all about helping people, but yet he's attacked more than anybody. And of course he is because he's helping people. It's like if we think about our history, people like JFK, Martin Luther King Jr., people doing good things, they get attacked. But he doesn't stop. Remember, I was talking to you about not giving up. They were trying to take him off the internet because, again, he's helping so many people and they don't like that. But look, he's still staying strong. He's not stopping. He's the voice for the chronically ill. So I mean, just to basically make it very simple, because I don't want to bombard anyone that's listening with too much information. One of the biggest things I can tell you, there's a book, it's called Cleanse to Heal. Cleanse to Heal. That would be a really good place to start. Even if you're just dealing with a few conditions, you can literally pick up that book and look up your condition and it'll give you protocols of what you can do to start. Because really one of the biggest things that medical medium talks about that other people are not is it all has to do with the liver. Okay, so that's the first thing that I help people with is for those of you that are listening or interested, I do a free consultation to see how I can help you. So if that's something you're interested, would love to set that up. But basically, yeah, we we talk and can answer some questions, right? But basically, it's looking at your history, right? That's the first thing, right? Because we have to look at the whole picture because you can't just give me a few things and I have to look at the whole picture. Like, what are the conditions that you know that your family had, your mom, your dad? What was it like growing up for you? And then I get an idea of like maybe obviously what you're doing now, supplements and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's different for everybody. Everybody has a different sandwich if you want to put it together, right? Everyone's not going to
Mhm.
eat the same sandwich. But yeah, just looking at everything from a holistic point of view, it's never about judging. You never have to feel bad. Everything's a very safe space. Anybody you work with, even what Tammy does, it's like everybody's going to have a different story, right? A different need. So even if you're dealing with 50, 60, 70 symptoms, that's okay. There's people that I know that have literally healed 100 symptoms on the medical medium protocols. It does take time. It takes patience. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's going to happen overnight because if you think about from the time we were born, even toxins that we accumulate, maybe that were carried down from our family, again, nothing to
Mhm.
feel guilty about, right? This is just the process of life. Our liver starts to accumulate things from the time we're born, right? And so it's going to take time to cleanse out that liver. And so to answer your question, that's one of the first things we focus on. Like what is it that's going on in the body, right? What are your conditions? And then we start to take little steps. For anyone that's listening that just honestly, maybe you're just totally awesomely healthy, and that is so awesome. I'm so happy for you. One
Mhm.
of the first things that you can honestly start with, if I can just share two things, is that okay?
Of course.
Is when you wake up in the morning, water with lemon is a very good place to start. You literally take 16 ounces of water, just squeeze a lemon or a lime, and then just start drinking that. That's a good, and the reason for that is because that's a really good way to, one, hydrate the liver, okay? And it's going to start loosening up toxins, okay? But that's a good place to start. If you wanted to start with water with lemon, you're honestly going to start to feel better. It's really refreshing, right? That if it's one tip I can give you is that.
Okay. What type of lemon? There's Myers lemon and then the, more
Oh,
traditional
any type of
lemon.
lemon is either
Just
lemon or lime. Yeah. I tell
yeah,
people to
okay.
start with 16 ounces just because the recommendation is 32, but start with 16, work your way up to 32 ounces
Hmm.
because I'm telling you, you wait about a half an hour and you most likely will have a very gentle bowel movement and it just starts to do its beautiful th the liver performs over 2,000 functions on a daily basis. The liver is very
Wow.
intelligent. Very,
Yeah.
very. Our emotions are connected to our liver. It's not just our heart, but
Yes.
also our liver.
Yeah. And it's where they houses like a lot of anger. A lot of people
Mm-hmm.
withhold a lot of anger. And so it's so related to our body, our emotions, and nutrition and all these
Mm-hmm.
wonderful things, right? So I love that it starts at the liver because oftentimes we're in a space of moving on to our next level, whatever that is, right? It has a lot to doing with detoxing old beliefs and old emotions and old thought patterns, whatever that is. And so it's so highly correlated. And so, yeah, please continue.
Yeah, so the other thing too is the second recommendation I'll give you just very simply is celery juice. After your water with lemon, wait 30 minutes and then have celery juice. You honestly can pick up any starter juicer. If you don't have a juicer, you can blend the celery in a blender and just use like a cheesecloth and you can squeeze it. That's another way to do it too, right? If you're on
Beautiful.
a budget, that's totally fine. I think the important thing is just to start, right? To start
Yes.
somewhere. So those would be the two I would say to start. That's a really good place to start because the thing is our liver, it's full of not only toxins, but it has herbicides, insecticides, DDT, EBV. I mean, so many different things that the list goes on and on. I want to talk a little bit about the viral aspect because I feel like somebody's going to ask, well, what did you mean about your body being viral? Okay, so there's different forms, so many different forms of it's what's called Epstein-Barr, also known as EBV. Okay. On some level, we all, again, this is not to instill fear, but it's just the honest truth, all medical medium information. All of us on some level have a little bit of EBV. Some of us have more. Now, how did I find out that I had this? Well, I can tell you for many years when I used to wake up in the morning, right? And then all the trauma and all these things that happened, right? I used to wake, it was extreme. I would in the mornings, like honestly, grumpy all of the time. Like I didn't want to talk to anybody, right? I've been dealing with chronic pain ever since I was in my 20s. Still something I'm healing, but way better than what it was. Inflammation down.
Mm,
Just so many symptoms. I mean, literally 30 plus symptoms. Been able to reduce a lot of those, right? Still healing, but again, much better.
great.
Also, so what was happening? Remember, I was telling you there was this thing, or I don't know if I mentioned this thing in my knee that was growing, right? And I had this cyst, and then all these things I didn't know what was going on. The condition that I had was called PVNS, and it's basically it's non-cancerous, but it was growing very slowly. In the
Hmm.
books of medical medium, he talks about this, the EBV, because actually one of the root things that causes cancer is actually EBV. You will not hear that from anywhere else other than medical medium information. Breast cancer, any type of cancer, which is one of the number one killers, right, in the world. Heart attacks, right? And so it's because things get clogged up. And so, wow, I mean, it's so much information. I don't want to overwhelm, but what I do want to talk about the EBV, okay, is that you can heal your body. That's the beautiful thing. You do that with doing things with food. One of the things, like I said, water with lemon, celery juice. You got to start with healing the liver, okay? Now, depending what conditions somebody's dealing with, okay, let's say, because what happens is with the EBV is there's different stages, okay?
Hmm.
There's stage one, two, three, and four. Okay. I'm not going to go on to all of them. The only thing I want to tell you is this. When somebody gets really sick, they're usually dealing with stage four. Okay. All
Hmm.
right. And so what happens is it starts from the liver. Okay. And what happens is when it gets to the point when you start getting chronic pain, you're dealing with migraines. What's happening is when this basically it's a virus that's spreading in your body, right? It clings onto the nerves. Like, let's say you're having chronic pain in your wrist. Maybe you're
Hmm.
dealing with carpal tunnel. Root cause of carpal tunnel, EBV. It hooks onto the nerves and it basically doesn't want to let go.
Hmm.
But like I said, now if you're somebody, you're like, yes, I'm dealing with that. Or maybe you're dealing with menstrual issues. Did you know that it's not normal to be dealing with period? Everyone thinks that it's normal to have cramps. It's not normal. It's not. Did you know
Yeah,
we
that's
actually
what
are
I
supposed
heard.
to be free of these symptoms? Yes, free of the symptoms. So I'm going to just condense this to make it very simple. I want you to
Hmm.
know that you can heal. When you actually start taking water with lemon and celery juice, you're actually already starting to kill off these viruses that we have in the body. Because there's different forms. There are different forms of EBV. Medical medium, if there's one of the things I want to leave you with, is this. Medical medium has been talking about viruses for the past 40 years. So it wasn't just, the C that happened in 2020. He has been talking about this for over 40 years. There's so many different types of viruses, right? That people getting sick, right? The biggest thing I just want to leave you with is I want you to know that you can heal. You can
Hmm.
get actually a lot of information for free too. I'm not here to try to sell you his books. You can go to his podcast. You can go to his website. As I mentioned, he provides a lot of free information. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I want you to know whatever conditions you're dealing with, you can heal, you can heal, you can heal. That's the biggest message oh, this is why it says that right up here. Oh, right up here. I'm pointing in the
Okay.
wrong way.
Oh,
Anyway, you can
yeah.
see it behind me. Oh, there it is right
Yes,
there.
yes.
You can
Yeah.
heal. And the
And
reason I say
so,
that is because people give up. A lot of people give up and they think they can't heal. It's not my job to convince people. Like if they're not ready, then that's where they're at and that's beautiful. So anyway, please, I've been talking a
yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I gotta first of all believe you can heal. And from what I hear you say, Janet, that this Epstein-Barr virus, I remember going to a talk on it and talking about a lot of dis-ease actually stems from it many years ago, but I didn't dive into it. So this is really interesting that you're bringing this up in this way. So I'm hearing that a lot of cancer, what like list some of the things that, according to medical medium, is it just a wide range of the common chronic conditions that are out there, often caused by this virus? Is that what you're saying? Because I heard that we all have like so many cancerous cells and so much viral load, and if your immune system doesn't have that balance, then that's when you get sick. And so, yeah, speak about that just to like make it really clear for the audience, and how that comes to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the big questions that I get from people when they send me a DM, for example, they say, well, have this, this, this. Again, it has to be a full analysis. I'm not able to. But what I want to say is like, for example, one of the things that a lot of people deal with is, let's say, or different people, excuse me, is let's say acne, right? The root cause of acne is strep. What is strep? That's one of the friends of EBB. So here we are dealing with another different type of virus, right? There's HPV, right? HPV 1, 2, right? So it really depends. I'm telling you that book, Cleanse to Heal. If you pick up the book, or you can get it at the library for free, okay? You can look up your condition and it will tell you protocols that you can start taking. Okay.
Beautiful.
Because we're all dealing with so many different types of conditions, right? Like one that a lot of women deal with is headaches. Like I have one of my best friends, she deals with migraines. She's been dealing with migraines ever since she was 5.
Wow.
Root cause of that, EBV. How do you heal that? You gotta reduce the viral load. And you do that through different foods. You can look up the morning cleanse, water with lemon, celery juice, heavy metal detox smoothie. You can Google the recipe for free. This the reason morning cleanse, the reason it's called morning cleanse is basically because you're not um having any fats in the morning. That includes avocado toast. I know this is going to trigger people. I don't want to give up my avocado toast. Then don't give it up. If you don't want to heal, then don't heal. Sorry to be so direct, but you know what I mean? It's the thing is there's so many different contributing factors that go into it. It's not just EBV. Now we have to look at how much fat are we putting into our body? The chicken, the pork. Again, I know this is going to trigger people, but I'm just the messenger, okay? A lot of these things, I have nothing against veganism. This is not what this is about. We have to look at, again, depending where one is with their healing, but you have to start reducing also the amount of fat that you're putting in your body. And there's these things also what's called troublemaker foods. Okay, what are troublemaker foods? So one of the biggest things I can tell you is because I feel like one of the questions that's coming up, well, how does the virus grow? Well, the virus grows when you feed it, because basically that's what it is. And again, these are steps that one has to take. When I say that there's a virus in your body, I don't want you to be scared because, like I said, there's so many different types of viruses. You have to get rid of the foods that are feeding the virus. Let me give you 3 to start eliminating if you want to start healing today. Eggs. Again, I know there's going to be people, I don't want to give up my, fine, don't give up the eggs. If you don't want to heal, then this message isn't for you. Eggs, dairy, gluten. Those are the 3 that you got to get rid of. If you're dealing with chronic illness, if you keep eating those foods, I'm sorry, but you're not going to heal. You're just not. I've never met anyone on this planet that healed from chronic illness eating those foods, period. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm so
remember.
passionate about this. I
Yeah, you
want
have
to give,
so much information.
it's a lot of information. And again, I don't want to overwhelm people, but Cleanse to Heal is a really good book to start. It depends what your conditions are.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I know when I had my daughter and I was breastfeeding and I cut out gluten, dairy, and egg, she was struggling with some eczema and
Oh, I'm
basically her
sorry to hear
eczema
that.
went away. And
Oh,
so,
good, good, good.
yeah, so it was dairy, gluten, and egg that I had to cut out at that time. And so, very interesting. We hear all this mixed information. And one thing I really want to touch upon is Anthony and his connection with, I don't know,
Spirit of
the
compassion.
yes, because I mean, I'm a believer. I think that whenever we're closed-minded, it really closes us up to more possibility in life. I'm someone that sent healing to someone's mother in the hospital, and I was able to pick up exactly what was happening in her body and things like that. So I'm really open-minded to this. And for anyone that else who's listening, that's open-minded to this, and I'm curious, is that something that all these things that you're speaking, is this from the spirit of compassion? Is that,
Yes.
am I getting that?
Yes.
And so
Yes.
all this protocol and everything was downloaded, is what I'm hearing.
Hmm.
And so you're following the protocol in your practice. And I suppose are you connecting as well to this compassion spirit, would you
Okay,
say?
that's a really good question. So, no, I cannot hear spirit of compassion, only Anthony. People ask, well,
Okay.
why only Anthony? Okay. So, again, he doesn't think of himself as some special person. He's not like that at all. He's a messenger, okay?
Yeah.
He's here to help people. Because the thing is we have to understand something. The chronically ill are misunderstood. They just are. They go to doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor. All great doctors, doctors, not the doctor's fault, with no answers. They start medical medium information, they start healing their bodies. Usually, a lot of people, when they've gone to specialist to specialist to specialist, and I'm talking more than 50 doctors, they find medical medium and they finally start healing because they're starting to understand what the root causes of their symptoms are. So, remember, I was telling you earlier that there's literally millions of people all over the world that not have only healed, but are literally bedridden, right? These people aren't understood. They've gone to so many doctors. That's why the medical medium information is like he wants to help more people to heal. That's what it's about. These people,
Beautiful.
it's not their fault that they're veteran. It's just because they don't have the answers.
Yeah. And from what I hear, the protocols are simple to start with. Anyone can start if you're open-minded to it. And there's no downside really to starting something like this if you have tried all these things. And I think that if we start these protocols and we are allowing ourselves to feel how our body feels, I think that is really the biggest measurement of if it's actually working for us at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy I brought you on the show because I personally I'm someone that was very alternative, always been a really alternative nurse. Now being face and body reading is kind of woo in itself. And I love this intersection because our body and what we feed it is super important. And food is thy medicine. And I'm hearing that it's not about necessarily supplements. Maybe there's some adjunct to that, but it's actually using food to heal ourselves. um, if we're looking at what's actually the mindset out there is that we're looking for this magic pill or drug or whatever, maybe even supplement sometimes. But often the greatest things in life are often free. And of course, there's companies out there that can't make money from that. And so I think this is really beautiful what is unfolded in this. And as someone that does human design, which is a system that essentially was downloaded, but the accuracy is just amazing that so many people who have experienced their own human design reading can speak to that. And so I think that I just want to like handle some of the mindset pieces around this to be open minded is that you can heal. This is a big part of your message. And
Yeah.
sometimes it is the mindset. You got to choose to believe it. And I'm curious, Janet, like anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the mindset is definitely important because one of the things that whether you're healing from chronic illness or trauma, you're working with a professional like Tammy and her expertise of what she does, is that things take time. Yeah, you can take a pill and maybe it's going to get rid of your acne, but the thing is your liver's the one that's, I'm just giving you an example, is that it's going to have to pay for that in the long run. You do what you have to do, right? Definitely there are meditations, for example, Medical Medium has all kinds of beautiful meditations that you can listen to. Calling upon the angels is another really beautiful one. That's actually my favorite part, the spiritual aspect of his practices. Or if you have a meditation that you like that works for you, that's beautiful. One of the
Mm,
things, yeah, I want to talk about is like, for example, when you're healing, whatever you're healing from, it's really important. Again, it sounds really simple, but taking time for yourself, right? We get so caught up with this device
yeah.
all day long, whatever it is, right? Again, no judgment. Take time away from your phone. Go out in nature. Spend time with your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is. Those of you that are listening, watching this, like whatever that looks for you, maybe it's going on a walk. Maybe it's going to jump on your trampoline. Maybe it's going to go spend time with your cat, your dog. It looks different for everyone. There's no comparison here. Maybe you want to go hug your teddy bear. You honestly don't whatever it is it's your life, right? You find things that you love to do. That's what I'm trying to say. The empowerment aspect, the mindset aspect is actually the part I'm really passionate about. Get up and dance, like nobody's watching. Make a
Yes.
playlist on your Spotify Apple account that like I have one that says Jeanette believe in herself. When I'm feeling down, I turn on that music and guess what? I start believing in myself and I feel better. The message for you, find things that you love to do. Period. That's it. Find things you love to do. Love yourself. Life is so short, you guys. It really is. We're not meant to just be on this planet, work 9 to 5, poop, pee, sleep, and then die. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
seriously, whatever your job is, I'm not judging you, whether you're an entrepreneur, you have a 9 to 5, you're doing something you love. That's beautiful. Tammy, she used to be a nurse, right? Whatever it is you're doing, you're the best mom, the best dad. I think that's beautiful. Live your life. Your life is just too short. We're meant to be put on this planet to fulfill our mission. If you don't know what your mission is, that's okay too. We have to go through that sometimes of finding ourselves. Honestly,
Mhm.
Tammy's amazing. Get a human design. session with her. She can help you with that. Hire a coach for something you want to do, right? Invest in yourself. I want to just say this. I feel this is something flowing through right now that has come up with my clients too. I don't have the money. Okay, well, congratulations. Find a way. I can't tell you how
Mm-hmm.
many there, I don't know what part of the world you live in, but there's so many scholarships and things available in today's age. You know, there's YouTube. I promise you that you can find a way to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave you with this. If you, it doesn't matter what you believe in, okay? Again, I'm not here to be religious. I don't care whether you believe in God, you're Muslim, you're Jewish, all beautiful, all beautiful. Tell the
Mm-hmm.
universe, God, whatever you believe in, show me the next steps of what I need to do. You guys, do you realize words? Because we're talking about mindset. Words are so powerful. What are you saying to yourself on a daily basis? Are you here to be a victim or a victor? Listen to the words that you're saying to yourself. I know you hear it all the time. Write down your goals. Yeah, you see this little book right here?
Mm-hmm.
I write everything down. My goals, my dreams, look at it every day. But if it's one simple step that I can tell you, anything that you want to manifest in your life, you can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you're going to get $1 million tomorrow. But heck, you never know. Who am I to judge? But I
Yeah.
want you to know things take time, but work on yourself, whatever it is that you want for your life, focus on that. It's just the biggest
Yeah.
message I want to tell you.
And this is like the biggest piece, Janet, too, is really like, do we honestly feel like we deserve it? Like it's a big self-love piece that I notice with the results of the clients I work with. If we're not changing our set point of how much we feel we deserve something, the mind will come in and just say, I can't afford that, like you said, or that, oh yeah, that's not possible for me, right? When I dive deep into this, often it has to do with this piece of actually learning to receive and let things in so that we can heal. And so I think it's the beautiful thing with what you're speaking about and what I do in the intersection of that. We just need to decide and choose it and ask the bigger, higher, whatever you believe in, right? Like you said, because our words are so powerful, our willingness and openness to ask for something and be brave enough to receive it and let it in makes the world of difference. I've seen it again and again. And so, as we need to wrap up the podcast, Janet, are there any last words that you want to share? Like, and how can the audience get a hold of you?
Yes, I have the biggest gem for you that I learned from one of my mentors, and I'd really love to share it with you guys that are watching or listening. If it's the biggest thing that you get out of this podcast, the first step that you can take wherever you are in your life, even if you're not healing, let's just say you're healthy, and that's beautiful, is be honest with yourself. Keep the promises that you make to yourself. It's so easy to say, for example, I'm going to do this, and then we don't do it. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that day in and day out with clients that I work and even with myself. If you tell someone that you're going to go to the store, for example, and you tell them, yeah, I'll get you I'll pick up the lettuce. You better pick up the lettuce because if you don't pick up the lettuce, not only have you lied to yourself, but you lied to the other person. Yes, I understand that things come up, right? Maybe you get sick, but keep the promises that you give first to yourself and then next to
Mhm.
somebody else. If you say you're going to brush your teeth that day, make sure you brush your teeth. I know it's the simple things, you guys, I'm telling you.
Mhm.
But this is what happens is when you start to do things consistently, like such as keeping promises to yourself, guess what? You start to have more confidence in yourself and your life will start to change. But it starts with that small thing of being honest with yourself and keeping the promises that you make to yourself.
Thank you, Janet. That is so true. It really erodes our self-confidence, telling ourselves we can't believe in ourselves, literally, right? So thank you. Thank you so much. You brought so much wisdom, knowledge from many realms into the conversation today, and you brought in really practical pieces to share with the audience that one can start and take action on. So if you're listening to this and you're struggling with something within yourself and you're looking for another way, please reach out to Janet to really support you on that journey in a really holistic way that maybe is a different type of holistic way that you've never experienced before. But I invite you to allow yourself to open up to heal. And of course, if there's a piece that you're drawn to reaching out to me, maybe there's opportunity for even me and Janet to work together. This is really amazing. I love this. And so thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Janet, for being here. I believe Janet has something to offer the audience, so I'll include that in the notes at the bottom of the show notes. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next week, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to the Authentic Leaders Rising podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to our podcast so you never miss an episode. And leave us a review so others can find the life-changing content that we're sharing here. We are starting our movement on our way to number 1, and we need your help to get there. If you'd like to connect with other high-achieving entrepreneurs and leaders who are also on their authentic, energetic leadership journey, join our free Facebook community, Energetically Aligned Leaders. Go to pathtotheheart.com/links to join the Facebook group, book your personalized face analysis experience, or to access our resources.